Well, joining me now is Congresswoman Mariannette Miller-Meeks from Iowa. Congresswoman, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much and good afternoon.
Thank you. And I don't know if you were able to hear that, but one thing we heard from there was an advocate, a leader of the 2019 caravan, saying the Biden administration is actually worse than the Trump administration because at least you knew where you stood with the Trump administration, but the Biden administration is sending mixed messages. Do you think the Biden administration is sending mixed messages about the open border?
Absolutely. They said it all during the campaign in 2020. They said it when they went into office. The first thing that they did on January 20th was an executive order to stop construction of the border wall. Meanwhile, we're still paying for that construction that's not going on. So, they may say that the border is closed, but the border is de facto open. We're not testing for COVID-19. We're not vaccinating. And we've got Haitian, migrants coming up from South America. And we know that the Lambda variant is prevalent in South America. So, it's a crisis.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. We've been talking earlier in the show about companies and governments around the country imposing mandates and firing workers for not being vaccinated, while it looks as though we're probably untold numbers of migrants coming over the border who aren't vaccinated and quite possibly carrying the virus.
Well, it's hypocritical on several fronts. One is that if you fly into this country, you have to be COVID-19 tested. So you can't get on a plane and fly into the United States without being COVID-19 tested. Number two, you have immigrants, migrants, refugees from Afghanistan coming here. They are not only COVID-19 tested, they're offered the vaccination and offered any other childhood vaccinations that they may be lacking or need. So they're being tested and vaccinated. And then you have a mandate in the United States that everyone gets vaccinated, whether you're a private employee, private business employee, or you're in the government, but yet you can come across the southern border and not be tested, not be vaccinated.
Congressman, if you're listening, I want to play you something that former President Obama said today. It's quite striking that, and I wonder what it tells us about the kind of the mindset of Democrats at the moment who are under fire. And as you know, many in the party, on the progressive left of the party, really want open borders. They don't seem to believe in national borders. I think, Lev, we have that. Do we have that tape we can play it? Okay, let's Congresswoman, just listen.
Immigration is tough. It always has been, because on the one hand, I think we are naturally a people that wants to help others. At the same time, we're a nation state. We have borders. The idea that we can just have open borders is something that I think, as a practical matter, is unsustainable.
Do you think the Democrats will get that message, that open borders are unsustainable?
They haven't gotten that message yet, and we saw that play out in Del Rio just this past several weeks. So you have a huge, and we have more people that have come into our country illegally this year than legally. It is not sustainable. We cannot continue to do it. We're putting our livelihoods at risk. We do not have security at the border. You've got Border Patrol agents processing people coming here illegally. Meanwhile, there are drugs, there are people on the terror watch list that are coming across the border because it's not being manned and it's not being patrolled in the proper manner. So we don't have border security. Every country has the right to secure its borders. We're a sovereign nation. It is important. We need to build the wall. We need to get a handle on immigration, and we need to put back in place those policies that Trump put in place. I have a bill, the REACT Act, which would mandate COVID-19 testing for every alien coming across the border. I'd like to see it passed. It needs to be passed because we're still in a pandemic and in a public health emergency.
Congresswoman, thanks very much for joining us. We'll follow that bill with interest.